Hey YouTube. So I wanted to give you a quick update on just everything that I know so far. I did make a very short second video, but I had decided to remove it and kind of just do it over again now that I've had my doctor's appointment after the initial phone call. Um, and this way, I can give a little bit more detail, not a whole lot, but a little bit more detail than what I actually was able to give in my previous video. So basically, today's Wednesday, the 18th of July. Yesterday, my doctor had called and said that they had gotten my biopsy results back. And basically, what they had told me was that they took 3 separate biopsies from different areas of my cervix, and that all 3 had come back with cancer, and that none of them had had clear margins. And honestly, they just kind of were like, okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow, which was actually today, at 11 a.m. so that the doctor can go over it in more detail. And they just kind of hung up. And so at this point, like, I'm bawling hysterically. I'm so emotional because, again, like, here I am left in the dark. I really, oh yeah, I got information, but they just kind of threw it at me and hung up the phone and, okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow. Like, I don't know. Just not how I felt like it should have been handled, or how, if I were a doctor's office, I would handle it. But, so I went in today at 11 o'clock, me and my husband, went in today at 11 o'clock to talk to my gynecologist. And so basically, my gynecologist had said that they still were confident that a radical hysterectomy would clear me of cancer. I would be cancer-free, and no chemo or radiation would be necessary. They even said that with any luck, they would be able to leave my ovaries, which is great because as a 26-year-old female, I can say that going through menopause early or hormone replacement therapy for the next 20 some years, I really would rather avoid it if I could. Obviously, if they think that that's not safe or something, then I would be willing to let my ovaries go and just do the hormone replacement therapy if that's what I had needed to do. Once again, we still really don't know a whole lot. Honestly, I guess I don't even really understand the process of how they're still so hopeful that they caught it early if they didn't get clear margins. And I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I'm trying to trust them that this is what they do. They know what they're talking about. But at the same time, I had mentioned in my first video that I already was so just kind of uncomfortable with the way that they've handled it. I really haven't saw any comfort out of my gynecologist, and that's hard because when you're going through something like this, I feel like it really would make all the more difference to be comfortable with your doctor, to be trusting in your doctor, and to have the peace of mind that they know what they're talking about, they're steering me in the right direction. But I just don't have that with them, and I think a lot of it stems from when I had first gone in after my PEPs. It was July 10th. It was 2 days before my cone biopsy. I had asked my gynecologist, I said, what are we looking at here? I said, because you're telling me that you found these cancer cells. I said, like, worst case scenario, could I have to go through chemo and radiation? And my doctor said, no, you wouldn't have to do that. And I did some research, and the research told me that that was incorrect, that there were, in fact, cases of it spreading past my reproductive system where I would potentially need chemo and radiation. And I thought, well, I'll just wait and see if I get a different vibe or a different answer or in the future from them. And it was kind of in the back of my head, but I also was trying not to base everything off of that. You know, I was still trying to love my gynecologist like I had always loved them. I mean, they've been wonderful with diagnosing my PCOS and helping me get pregnant and taking care of me while I was pregnant up until the point where I went 42 weeks, nearly 42 weeks before my daughter was born, because I had cried and I begged them. You know, I knew that my husband and I didn't want to have any more children, and this was the first child that I would give birth to. My son that I mentioned in my previous video is not biologically mine. He is my stepson, but he's my son. Anyways, so I had cried to them and I had said, you know, I want to do this naturally if I can. Let me go as long as you can. I don't care if I'm uncomfortable, which I really wasn't, but even if I had been, I don't care if I'm uncomfortable. I don't care if I'm in pain. If she's safe, if I'm safe, please let me try to go on my own. And they were very respectful of it. They said, you know, this is the last day we'll let you be pregnant, and if she hasn't come by then, you have to be induced. And luckily, she came the day before my induction date was set up, and they just have really been awesome in the past, and I've been so comfortable with them. So, up until this point, and so today when I had gone in, first of all, the nurse comes in, you know, they check your blood pressure, and they weigh you, and they do all that really fun stuff. And she said, you know, take your bottoms off and cover up with the sheet. Your doctor is going to want to check you to make sure that everything's healing well from your cone biopsy. And of course I was a little bit frustrated because I'm like, it's still a little sensitive down there. And the last thing I really want is someone digging around in there, but okay. And so I had done what she had asked, and my doctor had come in and had talked to me, and again had said, you know, that they were still very confident that a hysterectomy would get it all. And I just didn't feel at ease with that answer. I really didn't. And it's not like I wasn't like upset with it, or I just am so far to the point that I just don't trust. It's not that I don't trust them. They don't give me peace of mind. And I think that one of the reasons that they don't give me peace of mind is because, now mind you, this was the gynecologist that had performed my cone biopsy, whereas I had a different, I know she's not like a nurse practitioner, she was something else that had talked to me in the beginning when the cancer was first found. So when my doctor that did my cone biopsy had come in today, she had said, when she was talking about it all, she had said, this is good news. You don't need chemo, you don't need radiation. Like, we are confident in that. And it just kind of clicked for me. And I'm like, okay, she wouldn't have said that if that hadn't been a possibility in the beginning. So the doctor who had said otherwise misdirected me, and I feel like had the outcome been different and they had said, okay, you need chemo and radiation, I would have been so devastated had I not done my research and kind of just educated myself a little bit on what to expect, because this, honestly, cancer really is, at this point, in my opinion, starting to seem kind of like pregnancy. Like, it's kind of the same thing. We all have cervical cancer, but everybody's is different. Nobody's is the same. Some people, you could be staged exactly the same, but because of where a tumor's growing or where it has invaded or whatever the case is, one person may need radiation and chemotherapy and surgery. Some people may just need surgery. Some people may just only have chemo and radiation. It's so different. And so I guess it came from, them misdirecting me from the very beginning um, as far as the chemo and radiation goes. And I just feel like, maybe they were trying to keep me comfortable and keep me from freaking out. But at the same time, I just feel like it could have been very disastrous if they hadn't delivered the better news today than, chemo and radiation. So anyways, then my doctor says, oh, you didn't have to strip down. I'm not going to check you unless you think something's wrong. And again, I felt really uncomfortable by it. And so I said, can I get a referral to an oncologist? Which at this point, I had already sat down, done my research. I found somebody in my network as far as my medical insurance goes. And then beyond that, I did some research on, only 2 people showed up in a 50-mile radius of my house. So I did research on both of them, and I had chosen out of those 2 who I had decided I wanted. And so I asked for my referral, and she said absolutely. And then she said, but I'm not going to check you today unless you think something's wrong. And I guess it just blew me away. I guess I just really wasn't expecting that, because I feel like as my doctor, it's your job to ask me, okay, what are your symptoms? I'll tell you my symptoms, or maybe I don't have any symptoms. I'll tell you what's going on. How does it feel? Does it feel like there's pain? Are you having discharge? Are you having bleeding still? I will tell you all those things, and then it is up to you as my doctor to make an educated decision off of the symptoms that I have on whether or not you think you should check me. But instead she said, if you don't think there's anything wrong, then I'm not going to check you. It all just looks like a healing cervix most of the time anyways. And my biggest problem with that is I've never had a cone biopsy. How am I supposed to know if something's wrong? How am I supposed to know if I got a symptom I'm not supposed to have? Or if, maybe the discharge isn't the way that it's supposed to look, or really anything. So I had decided to just kind of drop it, and I said, okay, no, I'm fine. Because at this point, my trust in them is so low. They don't make me feel comfortable. I don't feel confident in the way that they've handled me or my care. So I kind of just decided that I'm going to go see this oncologist that I have chosen, and I'm going to talk to him about my concerns, and with those concerns, I'm going to tell him my experience with my doctor. And from there, I'm going to ask him to handle all of my care, including checking my cone biopsy, make sure I'm healing well, and just those kinds of things. I'm just so done with my gynecologist at this point, and it really is. It's upsetting, because they, like I said in the past, they've been wonderful, and now that's just not the case. And when you're 26 years old, when you're any age, really, but when you're 26 years old, and you've got 2 children and a husband, one of your children is not even 5 years old, you want peace of mind on this, and you want to feel like you have been well informed. You want to feel like your doctor has checked all avenues and made sure that this is the best way to treat your cancer. And so because of that, I'm really looking forward to seeing my oncologist. They actually called today. I go on Friday, tomorrow's Thursday, so the day after tomorrow I will go and meet my oncologist, and hopefully become very comfortable with him. And I know I'm saying a lot. I'm sorry. I did not sleep well last night. I didn't sleep. I didn't fall asleep until after 6 o'clock this morning. Had to be up at 9:30 for my doctor's appointment this morning, And last night was a rough night for me after the news that they had delivered and the way that they had delivered it. Honestly, I just, my mind was all over the place. I just remember, like, I was just thinking, what if it's a lot worse than we thought it was? What does all of this mean? No clear margins. What are they going to tell me as far as treatment goes? How far could this have spread? Did this just become a lot more concerning than maybe it was previously? And so honestly, last night after my 4-year-old had fallen asleep, I could not fall asleep, and I did not, I don't know. So I went in and I just was watching my daughter sleep, and I laid down next to her and on her bed, and I just started crying, and I laid there while she slept, and I held her while I cried. And last night, I really just kind of felt like, is this going to consume her childhood? Is her childhood going to be consumed by cancer? Or even worse, is this worse than we thought it was? Am I even going to get to see how her childhood goes from this point forward? Sorry. I get the most emotional when I talk about my kids and my husband. Because I don't worry about me. I just have this feeling. And I said the same thing in my previous video before I'd even got the biopsy results back, that I felt like it wasn't gone, and I was right on that. And now I have this feeling in my stomach, and it's just like, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to beat cancer's ass, and I am going to be okay. But what is my family going to go through between now and me being okay? Am I going to be able to take care of my daughter, even after having a hysterectomy? I'm going to need time to recover, and those things, I just get emotional when it comes to my family. And, this has been very hard on my mother, and she's very emotional, and at first I just kind of tried to make a joke out of it and make light of the whole entire situation, honestly. And then it hit me. What if this was my baby that got this news? As a mom, what would it do to me to know that my baby has cancer? And in that moment, I really understood, I think for the first time, what this must be like. Not just for my mom or my dad, my husband, my children. I think about how we're going to have to be more open and talk more in depth about this with my son. And I think, what if when I was 17, my mom had cancer? And so, because I'm looking at it this way, I'm really starting to see more in depth what they are going to go through, and it's really hard for me, especially because I'm not the kind of person, I don't want sympathy out of this. I don't want to hear how sorry people are. I just want to spread awareness. I want women to get their pap smears. I want women to have their daughters get their pap smears. I want husbands to not have to watch their wives go through this. I want children to not have to watch their mothers go through this. Mothers not have to watch their daughters go through this. And I really just want to spread awareness on it. And I really just want to be done with this. I want to be healthy for my family and healthy for myself. going to get there. It's just going to be inconvenient and a pain in the ass, honestly. That's all I can say. It's, it's going to be inconvenient, and it's going to suck. It's going to be hard. But I have the best husband and children and parents and extended family, and I know that even on the days that maybe I might feel like I just can't anymore, I just can't, I know that because of them, I'll be able to, and I know that their support for me is endless. I have so many wonderful people in my life that just are reaching out. We decided after the biopsy results to speak more openly, informed my closest relatives, and then I had also decided that I was going to put it on Facebook, mostly because for right now this is going to be such a big part of our lives, and I don't want to feel like I'm hiding it, or like I'm ashamed, or like I can't talk about it on, my own social media page about how I'm feeling or what I'm going through, or even just why spreading awareness on this particular type of cancer is so close to me and so close to my heart. And so today was kind of a rough day, just having, filled everybody in on what's going on with me, but at the same time, it was a wonderful day. So many people are praying for me and my family, and I have a lot of amazing people in my life, and I'm a lucky person. I know that I have cancer, and I'm saying that I'm a lucky person, but really I am, with the support that I have and the wonderful people. And my wonderful, wonderful husband, he's been great, and even though I'm in what he would call a strong, independent woman, and no man tells me, even though sometimes I am bullheaded, and I don't always listen to what he says, and his reassurances, and him trying to get me outside of my own damn head sometimes. He's wonderful, and he is everything. He is everything I could have ever asked for in a husband and a father, and him and my kids and my parents and my siblings and my family and my friends, they're what's going to help me get through this, because no matter what happens with my oncologist, I know that I'm always going to have the support that I need, and I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to kick cancer's ass, and I'm not going to look back after that, but I can tell you I will never miss another pap smear in my life. So ladies, get your pap smears. I go to my oncologist on Friday. I'm hoping to talk to them about doing a PET scan so that I have peace of mind before they decide to go ahead and go forward with the hysterectomy, and I hope that we can do this at a relatively fast pace, because I'm not a fan of feeling like I'm walking around while cancer spreads throughout my body, even though that's not how it happens and I'm in my own head again. That's the game plan for now. I will update after I talk to my oncologist and let you guys know what the new game plan is. So, thanks for listening.